Have you ever had that feeling? You know the one. Inside your head, your English is amazing. It's fluent, it's witty, it's, well, perfect. But then you open your mouth to say something and it all just crumbles. If that sounds familiar, trust me, you are not alone. Today, we're going to get into exactly why that happens and, more importantly, what you can do about it. So this is the big question, right? It's like you're two different people. There's the confident, smooth-talking English speaker in your mind, and then there's the person who actually has to speak, and they're kind of hesitant and clumsy. So let's really unpack why this gap exists in the first place. All right. First things first, let's really define this gap between what's happening in your head and what's coming out of your mouth, because understanding the problem is like half the battle. Yeah, this pretty much sums it up. In your head, it's a seamless movie, but when you speak, it can feel like a jumble of broken clips. You know what it's like? It's like singing in the shower. In the shower, you're a rock star, right? You hit every note, but put you on an actual stage with a microphone and an audience? Whoa. That is a totally different game. So, what is actually going on inside our minds that creates this feeling? Well, it turns out your brain is a pretty slick magician, creating this powerful illusion of fluency. Here's the secret. When you're just thinking in English, you're not really building sentences from the ground up. Nope. You're taking shortcuts. You're working with abstract concepts and feelings. It's basically a simulation running in a totally pressure-free zone. There are no stakes, no one's judging you, and there's no clock ticking. It's kind of like you're on a nice, comfy treadmill. Everything's under your control, the pace is perfect, the ground is even, there's absolutely nothing that can throw you off your game. But that's only half the picture. Because speaking is like running on that same treadmill, but now you're also juggling a bunch of oranges and there's a whole audience watching you. Suddenly, you're not just thinking of words, you're trying to pronounce them correctly, get the grammar right, read social cues, and manage your own anxiety, all at the same time. It's a multitasking nightmare. And get this, there's a massive speed difference. Cognitive studies have actually shown our thoughts can race along almost 4 times faster than we can physically speak. So that English in your head doesn't just feel more fluent, it feels faster because it's skipping all the hard work of actually producing the sounds. Okay, so let's move out of the brain for a second, because speaking isn't just a mental activity. Honestly, it's more like a full-body sport. We totally forget this, but speaking is a physical skill. Your tongue, your lips, your jaw, they all have to do this incredibly precise, coordinated dance to make sounds. If you haven't built up the muscle memory for certain English sounds, like that tricky TH, your mouth literally can't keep up with your brain's commands. It's like wanting to play a beautiful song on the piano without ever practicing your scales. And then there's the fear factor. Thinking is safe. Speaking feels risky. The second you feel that risk of being judged or making a mistake, your brain's little fear center, the amygdala, can hit the panic button. And it often activates way faster than your language center, which is what causes you to just freeze. You know exactly what you want to say, but the words just won't come out. You know, we hold our spoken English to this crazy standard of perfection. But here's the thing. Really listen to native speakers. You'll hear them say and you'll hear them pause, start a sentence over, all the time. These aren't failures. They are normal features of natural human speech. We're just hyper-aware of them when we're the ones talking. Okay, so we get the problem now. We understand the why. So, what do we do about it? How do we actually build a bridge across that gap between what we know and what we can say? Think of it like this. All that vocabulary and grammar you've learned, that's your script. It's essential. But an actor can't just memorize the script. They have to get on stage and perform it. Speaking is a totally separate skill. It's a performance that requires active, physical practice. Your knowledge is the foundation, sure, but it's not the house. So how do you train for the performance? Here are 3 killer techniques. First, shadowing. This is where you literally speak along with a native speaker in real time. The goal isn't to understand everything. It's to give your mouth a workout, to train it to make the right shapes and copy the rhythm. Second, the delayed response. Before you answer any question, just pause for 1 full second. It sounds simple, but that tiny beat kills the panic and gives your brain just enough time to get organized. And finally, record yourself.
I know, it can feel cringy, but it's the best reality check you can get. You'll finally hear what you actually sound like, and I promise, you probably sound way better than you think.
And finally, let's just zoom out for a second and think about the true goal here. What are we really trying to do when we learn to speak another language? Is it really about perfection, or is it something much more human? At the end of the day, it all comes down to this. The chase for perfection creates the very pressure that destroys our fluency. Look, native speakers aren't perfect. They're just confident in their imperfections. The moment you switch your goal from, I need to have flawless grammar, to, I just want to connect with this person, you free yourself up to actually speak. So that fluent, brilliant English speaker inside your head, they're real. That's not an illusion. It's a seed of pure potential. But a seed can't grow buried in the dark. You have to bring it out into the light through speaking. Messy, imperfect, real-life speaking. That's the only thing that gives it a chance to grow. So I'm just going to leave you with this question. That gap between your head and your mouth, it only closes when you decide to cross it. And it doesn't require more books or more apps. It just requires a little bit of bravery. So, are you ready to get started?